Hi, my name is Matt Sorrell. I'm Technical Marketing Director at MinIO, and I am here to show you how to deploy Grafana Loki and save data to MinIO object storage. Grafana Loki is a popular log aggregation and search tool. It's used to troubleshoot applications and user activity, network activity, anything you might dig in a log to look for, you would use Grafana Loki. In order to make this easier for you, we created a repository that has all of our containers as well as the configuration YAML. And the first thing we're going to do is pull that. It only takes a second or two. I could use this time to tell you what we're going to do. Everything is configured using YAML, and we're basically going to pull the repository and then customize the YAML. The repository is now on my local machine. You can see it here. And I'm going to go to the production directory. And in the production directory, you can see we have all of our YAML. And I am going to first open up and customize our docker-compose.yaml. So you can see here that what you want to do is attach everything to this Loki network. You're pulling the images, you're mapping your current production folder. So you're going to change this where it says your production folder. You will change that to reference your actual directory structure. And then it will be mapped, the port will open on 3100, which is Loki's port, and it'll load the Loki.yaml, and that will configure Loki. So it'll run with MinIO. Here's Promtail. Promtail is the agent that sends logs to Loki. And we'll also be loading Grafana. Grafana is the visualization interface. You can see the ports, and it's also running on the Loki network. And here we're loading the MinIO container. MinIO will start, and it will run the console on port 9001 on the Loki network. Then we have a little container that runs a short script. This script will take MinIO client and it will establish an alias and the credentials for the MinIO server we're installing in the other container. And it will also create a bucket called Loki and set the policy to public so Loki can access it. And that's where Loki will save logs. We can also take a look at the Loki.yaml. And this will tell us how we've configured Loki. So the magic in this file, if you'll scroll down, is where we get to storage config. And in this area, first we are using BoltDB shipper, and we're using it to write to S3. Okay? Right below that, we have the settings for S3. And we have our URL with our credentials for the MinIO server, the port number, and we also have the Loki bucket, which is the bucket we're going to save our logs to. Now, one important thing to note is that we're using a dot after MinIO because Loki is expecting to have referenced an AWS region, and that's not necessary in this case because we're running locally. Here we are. We're about to start everything now that we've customized our YAML. Now we're going to issue our Docker Compose up, which will launch our environment. Now I launch a web browser. I go to the IP address and port where Grafana is. I use the default admin to log in. I can go down to data sources, and I can see that Loki is now here on port 3100. I can test it. It's there. I go to explore. and I could see my logs. They're all here. And I can go to MinIO. I log in using the credentials we established. And I can see that the Loki bucket is being used for both indexing and data. And that's it. Now we've got Grafana Loki running using MinIO for storage. Thanks a lot. See you later.